Welcome to another video. It's a beautiful Saturday, and I want to just yap a little bit about stuff on Twitter is actually lagged behind stuff that I'm talking about, and it's really cool because all of X is obsessed with Cursor and Claude, but it's been out for like 60 days. It's just surprising to me. Typically, Twitter X, usually they're supposed to be on it. They know everything all the time. And I don't know, it's just crazy to me. But I want to give an update on some of the stuff that I'm learning, where we're going, what you're gonna learn in this video. So I came across the best podcast that everyone that's a developer, aspiring developer, entrepreneur, indie dev, hacker, whatever it is, product manager, anyone that wants to get more technical, go watch the Lex Fridman, Pieter Levels talk. It's the best podcast I've ever seen. Why? Because it's someone that breaks every norm in the book about being an entrepreneur and being a developer, because so many developers, especially in like the SF bubble from elitist schools, they can be super pretentious, and it makes it super intimidating for folks that didn't go to fancy schools, myself, to try to get into this whole development thing. And it's just, if you make something that people want, then you're doing the right job. And Pieter is just so good at explaining this. He's also Dutch. A lot of Dutch people, it's culturally a thing where they just don't have any fat in what they say. They just rip. And he's very honest and straightforward. So definitely go watch that. I mean, even little things about like how he does his workflow. So many people make fun of his tech stack, but who cares? No one cares. No customer on the planet cares about your tech stack. They care, does this thing solve my problem? Does your product or your service help me? That's it. And so as a part of that video, I'm sitting there and I'm listening, and I had just gotten a bill from Vercel for like $30, and I have 0 users. It's not even out, right? It's on localhost. And I have this $30 bill, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is crazy. And I can't do any long-standing cron jobs, so if I want to have something that's running all the time, that doesn't work very well. They charge you for like each one of them. And a cron is basically just a scheduled task that sits on your computer and runs. But I can't do it locally. I have to have it on a server, but I can't do it with Vercel. And then I also need WebSockets because we have a calendar that connects Google Calendar to your calendar to your activities that you're doing in real life with fitness. So you have this map calendar that pulls in everything. It's live synced. It audits your time and keeps you accountable to your goals. And it has to always be running. And that also couldn't run. So I think it is totally a thing that a lot of developers are getting bought, and I totally fell into this bucket where when I first got into coding full-time, almost 2 years ago, before that I had done a lot of product management stuff, but I just ate or drank the Kool-Aid. I was like, oh my gosh, Vercel, this is so cool. They got a really good website. It's open source. They raised a couple $100 million, so that's a safe bet. But at the same time, like I kind of misclassified that because it doesn't mean it's a safe bet. It means that they have to shill a lot of product so that they can stay on the milestone-based financing track that they're on in order to appease investors, in order to continue to raise money or IPO or whatever the case is. And so anyways, I fell into this bucket, and it was like a really strange time to learn Vercel/Next.js, which is their framework, because they had just forked and stopped using this thing called the Pages router, and they started the app router, and I went and I spent a year learning the app router, and then I just went to deploy my project, and I realized, oh man, I can't do a lot of the stuff that I need to do in order to run map. That sucks. So coincidentally, I go watch this Pieter Levels pod, and I'm like, oh, this VPS thing that I see, it's hot, I gotta go inside. This VPS thing, literally a meme on the internet of like $5 VPS can run your life or run your servers. But I had seen that meme a lot of times, and I was like, I don't really know what it means. I look it up, it's a virtual private server. It just means you're running your own server. I used to run Counter-Strike servers, so it was like a dedicated server. It's kind of the same. But it forced me, by having no way to deploy map, to go and figure out this VPS thing. And it's crazy, because it's literally, again, I paid $30 for 0 users on Vercel, and at scale, it's going to get super expensive. I know you're not supposed to worry about that right now, but it's just something to think about because I'm bootstrapping this. And I go set up a Droplet, and I mean, it's taken some time, definitely, because I have a mono repo. There's 3 apps. There's a Next.js app for the marketing site. There's a Next.js app for the dashboard. There's an Express API. There is a bunch of different packages. So figuring out how to actually get that deployed has taken a second. You have to do CI/CD, and you have to get your GitHub runner to run on the VPS. It's using Ubuntu, it's on Linux. But a lot of Linux commands are really similar if you're used to using a terminal. So like if you're used to using like cd, ls, cat, all those things. So anyways, ran it over. I'm really amazed by this whole Droplet DigitalOcean thing. The CEO now follows me on Twitter. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I yap. You can click a button somewhere. I'm actually probably not going to edit this, so just go to x.com/ParkerX and go watch the Pieter Levels video. It's super sick. And other stuff is, I'm going to be doing some live streaming, so that's exciting too. But that's my rant on the Vercel thing. There's going to probably be a lot of videos about this on the internet where like people are trying to defend Vercel. I have no incentive on either side. I'm not trying to dramatize it. I just think if you are a developer and you are not aware of how to deploy stuff, you should probably figure that out. It took me like 2 days and I've figured it out and I feel so much better for it. So that's the video. Thanks.